Hey guys, it's Coach Lainey here with you today. I'm the nutrition specialist at Steel, and today we're going to talk about organic versus non-organic foods. Alright, so first I'm going to talk about the definition of organic food, which, to sum it up, basically means that the food has no additives, no artificial ingredients, no artificial dyes, and there's no GMOs in the food. So, in order for a food to be organic, there is a lot of rules that the farmers have to obey and have to pay for in order to get certified. So, when I was in school, we learned about the process of that and how difficult it is on the farmer. So, normally, farmers who want to be certified as organic have to pay a lot of money and go through a bunch of different tests and applications in order to even be considered organic, and they also have to operate as an organic farm, which is expensive, for 3 years before they can even apply. So to give you an example of how much an organic farmer has to pay for to get certified, it's often more than $825 plus $550 for each annual inspection. The application cost is about $2,300, which is almost 10 times more than the typical cost of organic farming. Then the application is reviewed, and if it is approved, an inspector has to conduct an on-site inspection. Then the application and inspection are again reviewed, and everything is up to the USDA standards. Organic certification is issued, but the process is not super realistic for many small farms. So, with that being said, I like to appreciate the actual organic farmers that still make organic food and at a cheap price. Like, for example, at Aldi, a lot of their organic products are not crazy expensive, and I just have a lot more appreciation for that, seeing how much it actually costs to be organic instead of non-organic farming. I've listened to some podcasts that farmers have been guests on, and for example, a dairy farmer said, which he makes raw milk in Nevada, and he talked about how he is not certified organic. However, he talking about how he farms and how he takes care of his cows. He takes care of them and feeds them super awesome, nutritious food and takes care of them very, very naturally. But because organic is so complicated and regulated that he can't get certified for the expense, and because sometimes it's just not worth it. So, with that being said, sometimes organic doesn't mean better in all circumstances. So, for example, like that farmer or a small farm that you know locally, if you know the farmers and you know their process and how they take care of their animals, what they feed them, it's not necessarily less healthy or more processed or harmful to choose that over organic. So there's different types of farming, there's different types of harmful effects with the more commercial that you get in farming. So organic doesn't necessarily mean it's going to be better than supporting your local small farm, because small farms are very not likely to be able to afford to be certified organic. So I think it's good to support your local farmers and to really make an effort in knowing how they farm their animals and how they harvest their crops. All right, a big buzzword in the non-organic world is glyphosate. All right, so glyphosate has gotten a lot of hate. There's a lot of different words that get a lot of hate in the non-organic world. And the reason why glyphosate which is a pesticide that's sprayed on most non-organic foods. The reason why people buy organic is a lot of times because they want to avoid this product, and it has evidence of harmful effects. And actually, the International Agency for Research on Cancer has classified glyphosate as probably carcinogenic to humans based off of studies that they've done and the limited evidence in humans. So I've talked about this before. Research is hard. It's hard to find things, especially controversial things that are super black and white, of like, Okay, I would love to give you the answer on this thing, but even studies can't give us the answer because there's conflicting evidence. However, glyphosate is proven to be a negative factor on human health, but where it kind of gets gray is in how much of glyphosate is going to cause those harmful effects and cancer versus, or is it just being exposed to glyphosate even in a little bit is going to cause those negative effects. So those are kind of the things that are a little gray in that area. So it's likely to cause cancer. It's an endocrine disruptor. Glyphosate is also known to cause developmental effects. So especially during pregnancy and early childhood, it can and could be linked to an increased risk of birth defects and other health problems. So they sometimes encourage pregnant women or young babies to not eat glyphosate or have foods that have it in it. So some evidence against that, evidence of safety. Regulatory agencies have concluded that glyphosate is safe for use when applied to label instructions. There has been some large-scale studies that have failed to clear a link between glyphosate exposure and cancer or other health problems in humans. Depends on who you ask, but it's very gray in terms of kind of what level of harmful effects does glyphosate have on humans, long-term and short-term. But I would say to conclude that there is evidence that it is negative, but we don't know really to what degree and how much you have to eat to cause those harmful effects. So it also depends on the person. I think some people can be easily affected by it. I did read that people who do not consume it are less likely to have eczema, which is interesting, and other allergies, which I think is also something to note with the increased production of non-organic foods and how allergies and eczema has increased since kind of the 1900s. So I think that's something to note. With more processed things, more chemicals, those things have gone up. So there's got to be something to it. All right, so some foods that test high for glyphosate: wheat-based products, corn-based products, soy-based products, processed foods, seed oils, and oats. So a lot of grains are going to be high for glyphosate. So something that I've been doing, because I don't buy all organic food because it's expensive, and so basically what I have been doing is I buy organic flour, and then I use all my wheat products are made by me, and so I know what's going in them, and I'm not buying lots of grain products, because I found in a lot of my research and working in nutrition that grain products and processed foods most of the time are mostly grains. Like in the middle aisles of the store, a lot of bad snacks, cereals, things like that, a lot of them are grain type things, which I can avoid completely if I just make my own grain products. So the only grains I really eat is going to be bread, sourdough bread that I've made myself, or hamburger buns that I've made myself, and things like that. So I try not to eat crackers. I'm not against it completely, but again, it's about that 80-20 rule. So whatever you're eating 80% of the time is what is going to make the big difference. Can't be perfect about everything. But yeah, and then seed oils, I try not to eat seed oils. It's going to be in everything, especially like tortilla chips and grain products again. But just read your labels and be aware. Glyphosate's also in beans. That's probably the main way that I have glyphosate in my food is from beans, because I don't always buy organic beans. In conclusion, kind of with this organic versus non-organic conversation, I think to sum it up, I would rather my clients eat real food than organic food, because there's a lot of organic food that is organic, but it's not real food, it's still processed. So organic doesn't necessarily mean that it's healthy. Let me say that again. Organic doesn't equal healthy. I think whenever we think about healthy, we're like, oh, that must be organic, but that's not always the case. Organic food doesn't necessarily increase or decrease nutritious content in that food. There is some evidence that it does in terms of omega-3s, and certain micronutrients are increased with organic foods. I think the evidence is mixed. I would say generally, yes, organic food is healthier in terms of more micronutrients that are naturally occurring in those foods, and that non-organic food takes out some of those naturally occurring nutrients. But again, all of this is up to your own interpretation, and you have to know your family. Hey, can you afford organic food? If that's something you want to spend your money on, then it's only going to help you. It's not going to harm you. However, don't beat yourself up. Don't beat yourself up over not buying everything organic. I think I would rather my clients strive for healthy food that they cook themselves, that is real whole foods, instead of just eating organic food that's not necessarily always healthy. So go for real food. That's basically what we tell all of our clients. The best thing you can do is cook your food, know what's in your food, and stop buying processed food with a ton of seed oils and different things in them. So it's up to your interpretation. You choose. And I'll end the video by saying I don't buy everything organic just because it's expensive, but things that I try to buy that are organic is, like I said, flour, anything that's going to be affordable. So things that don't have peelings on them. If they don't have peelings on them and you're going to eat that fruit or vegetable directly, that's the things that are going to matter in terms of getting them organic. Things that have peelings on them that you're not going to eat, like an orange or a banana, it's not going to matter as much to be organic, because in the fruit there's a protection from the peeling. So again, there's still going to be pesticides in, but the risk is a lot higher with things like strawberries for pesticides and glyphosate. So I hope that made sense. I hope that helps. I cannot wait to see you guys in the gym, and I will talk to you guys next year.